Hello there, chat. How's everybody doing? Greetings and salutations to y'all out there. How's everybody? Ugh. Let's see here. Alrighty. Okay, Twitch says we're excellent. Streamlabs is running optimally. The chat is scrolling and the game is running. So I think we're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get this party started by saying, greetings and salutations to you. My name is Featherhoof, and welcome back to another live stream of Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker's main story quest, where we're doing the main story quest. The game just sort of went back to the future on us, or I don't know, Doctor Who. I don't know. Pick something that involves time travel, and that's what we did. We're apparently back in time to a point before the Sundering happened, and everything seems fine. But we're here to find a clue, some kind of clue, and what to do. And then somewhere back here, the Fandaniel of this time, before he, became a Mon and became crazy and wanted to kill himself and everyone, take everyone with him, was working on some kind of solution to the end of days problem, the final days problem. And so far we haven't found that. But what we have found is actually a deeper, more interesting story for said character Fandaniel, which I was really hoping for, and I'm glad they gave us. It's just, he's not just a raving lunatic who wants to end the world. He actually had some kind of deep backstory where he was a different type of character, and it was like, oh, okay, it's interesting. I wonder when the turn happened, But, so that's all cool. But we're going to continue that story, because we had to end it in the middle of it there. So we're going to go right back into it. He's around here somewhere. Ah, there he is. There's Hermes / Fan. Well, that's right. He's not Fandaniel yet. He hasn't decided to take up the post. But his original name was Hermes, and he has the cutest little familiar of all time with Meteon. And her name has meat in it, or at least that's how they pronounce it. So therefore, she is best character. An all too brief interlude, perhaps, but it is time I attend to my next task. As Emmett Selkin, Hythlodaeus are aware, we reached a verdict regarding the fate of the Lycaon. Damn it, I wish they would just say it so I knew how to say it. Lycaons. 7 were created for observation, and all 7 must be unmade. Doros has followed the correct protocols, and, as chief overseer, I can find no fault in his judgment. The Lycaons would disrupt the natural order, ravaging and consuming other species until they themselves starve and perish. They cannot be released into the wild, and they cannot be allowed to remain here in Elpis. I intend to petition the Bureau of the Architect to have the concept preserved as a restricted purpose hazardous life form. Hythlodaeus has pledged to support me in this endeavor. Yet, whatever the Bureau decides, the existing Lycaons have served their purpose. Doros has already isolated the creatures and is preparing to carry out the necessary measures. I will join him forthwith. It is my duty to witness the conclusion to this study. If you are resolved, then we have but to accompany you. Of course. Let us be off then. We return to the main isle. Yeah, Hermes back in the day was quite the polar opposite of his modern day, incarnation. He was actually someone who really, really cared about life and things, and he's upset. He's upset when they have to unmake things and when things have to die. He doesn't like that. It makes him sad. And yet, it's like, it's just sort of like he feels like an outsider because everyone else is like, shit happens. Things die. Sometimes we gotta unmake shit. Whatever. And Fandaniel's or Hermes is all like, it's not whatever, it's sad. Oh, hello. The hell happened here? Doros, are you hurt? What happened here? They caught me off guard. I had them bound with ethereal shackles, but they became frenzied, even more so than usual, and broke free. I was able to stop 4. The other 3 escaped. I see them. 2 have taken to the air above the 12 wonders. The last is up ahead, lurking in the fields. You and Warren handle that one. The pair in the sky you can leave to me. Works for me? If this is how it must end, then so be it. I will render assistance to Emmet Silk, unneeded though it is. Meteon, you are to stay here with Doros. But Hermes... The Lycoans must be reverted. I would spare you their pain. And mine. Oh yeah, she's empathic. And she can't exactly control it, you know, when emotion... She can choose to read emotions, but when strong emotions happen around her, they affect her pretty hard. This is my burden, and this is my burden, not yours. But if you are intent on helping, then please, follow my lead. Oh, Hermes, you don't need to instruct me on the ways of Stabbity Death. I know Stabbity Death. I live Stabbity Death. I am a Dragoon, after all. It is what we do. You know, you got all those other classes and jobs out there that have slashy death, and magical death, and, you know, shooty death. But they don't have Stabbity Death, which is the best kind of death of all of them. I appreciate your help, and lament that it is necessary. That is our quarry, within striking distance at present, but it feels threatened. It may well flee beyond our reach. Here is my plan. You will approach slowly, in full view, and then draw the Lycoan's attention. Now I warn you, its abilities are as fiery as its temperament. Once it spots you, it will unleash orbs of flame. But fear not. By my measure, you are more than equal to the task. Withstand the onslaught for a few brief moments, and that will give me time to catch it unawares. Ready? Then let us begin. Okay. Hey, big boy. Like what you see? Oh, I'm looking like a tasty little morsel, don't I? Look at that. Fire. So, you gonna do anything, Hermes? Or you just gonna stand there? Oops. I pulled a Dragoon. Got it. Hermes. Little help? Trinity? Help? Oh, I killed it. Hermes, you, going to do nothing, or?
Now.
Ooh, nice staff. You have been unmade, sir.
Forgive me. Please, forgive me. May you and your kin find peace. Wherever your souls may drift in the underworld, may you find tranquil seas.
Don't bring the empath now!
be not forgotten, in concept endure, to reclaim form and one day live again. Serve not the star, or any purpose save your own. Live again, if that be your desire.
Oh, everyone's sad now.
Hate, if that be your want. We are worthy. But leave your suffering behind. Lay down your burdens, be born anew. Fly high. Fly free.
Oh. You are a gentle soul,
Join the
dude.
convocation, Hermes. You do not belong here.
Leave to replace another. To be replaced. It changes nothing.
Ooh, he
Tell
upset.
me, do you think it right that we sacrifice all these lives for the sake of the star? And when the star
That's
has
kind
reached
of what we
perfection,
do.
what then? If all who are satisfied choose to die, shall we all die in satisfaction?
Yeah, I think I'm starting to see the bits of the Hermes, the Fandaniel that we knew.
I do not know. Were I to take up the seat of Fandaniel, it would be tantamount to approving my predecessor's death. I do not know if it is right. And to be torn by such thoughts, I do not know if I am fit to represent mankind.
Hermes! Please don't be angry. It hurts so.
Oof.
Forgive me. If you would still consider me in spite of everything, I beg some time to gather my thoughts. Meanwhile, Hythlodaeus, I fear I must trouble you to attend to the others.
'Tis no trouble at all. Take as long as you require.
Okay.
And you, my friend, I pray you find that which you seek.
Maybe. If the story wills
I
it.
expect we have some few matters to discuss. Shall we return to the 12 Wonders for a time?
Aye.
I still say I want an Azem mask. I just do. So I can use it as a glamour. The other Cohen's have been taken care of. The incident is resolved, and life in Elpis continues as normal, or ends, as the case may be. Rationally speaking, I understand Hermes' argument. No matter how well-deserved the rest, there is a pang of sadness when a colleague leaves us. Yet never has a departure caused many such grief as Hermes appears to feel. Must it be like to experience such torment? I mean, do you want to know? I can cause you stabbity death like I did to your future self. You know, I mean, you can know torment that way. It's not exactly the same, but where to now? If there is anywhere you would like to visit before we leave, I should be glad to show you the way. Hermes has not yet outright refused his position with the convocation, merely postponed the decision. As such, I may as well resume my assessment, If we cannot accompany him, then I will content myself with questioning his colleagues. Ever the pragmatist? Then allow me to remain your humble guide. And what of you, Warren? Will you continue along with us? Yes, because I know it upsets Emmett Selk. Wonderful. Our fellowship travels on unbroken. I say we explore another part of Elpis and see what new encounters there are to be had. If you would follow me, we will first head back to Seriously, does anyone know how that's pronounced? Ah! Anonyrus. Is it just simply a silent G that doesn't need to be there? Boing. Ah. This is such a calming area. From its aesthetics to its music, there's just so much calm about this area. And I love it for it. Found him! I'm a good finder of people. From here, we follow the path northwards to Notonius. There we will find one of the nues which facilitate travel between the islands of Elpis. First-time travelers must be accompanied by someone with the requisite permission, which I have previously been granted. We only need use the device together once, and henceforth you will have leave to use it freely. Shall we? We shall. And the fuck is that over there? Like, seriously, the fuck is that? Is that a hunt? That is a hunt. Shock maw. Creepy. It's a whale squid thing, and it's gross. Why must it be so gross? Why must it be all of the ew? And the ew? Boing. Here we are. Notonius. This Naeus will take us to Calamelia Forest, the western island. That's it right there, looming large over us. Step this way and we can soon admire the view from above. Okay, works for me. I love it. Ooh.
I present to you Calamelios Zephyros.
Oh, I said it right. Cool. Or at least close enough.
Here you will find a number of testing facilities, as well as the observation hub of Poiton Oikos.
Thank God you said that. Poiton Oikos. Got it.
Right then. Let's begin by...
A Spriggan.
Well, well. An Arrayus. How delightful.
We know that a Spriggan, but you know. Hi.
And
Giant
what,
shark
pray
man.
tell, is that?
Giant shark man. Duh.
Ah, that's a new species of shark. We approved the concept but a few days ago. Sharks are among the most popular sea creatures. Rare is the day when someone does not submit a new concept. At first, they were largely orthodox, consideration given to such things as size and environmental impact. And then a whimsical someone thought to bestow it with flight, another superior intelligence. And then the floodgates burst. Concepts with multiple heads, or arms and legs, and so on and so forth. It was getting absurd. A part of me wanted to tell them to go away and find something else to create, but in the end, I couldn't deny their passion.
Someone's hungry. Character! You just got knocked the fuck out! Are you also Dragoon? Are you Dragoon like me?
That was too close. Are you unharmed?
Hi, Heidelin. How are you?
Well now, if it isn't a pair of familiar faces.
Banar, that we should meet you here.
Ah, we've heard that name before. When we were on the moon. Was she to Heidelin what Elidibus was to Zodiark?
As I mentioned earlier, the better part of the convocation holds that when we retire is when we return to the star.
Right.
Well, she is not among said majority. Even after stepping down, she carries on with her work.
Well, isn't she just a little busy beaver?
Vanar is her name, and she is the previous Azem.
Oh, well, hello!
It has been a while, Hythlodaeus. You look well.
So wait. Is that... This is the previous Azem. So when we're the Sundered Soul of Azem, does that mean we're the Sundered Soul of the current Azem, or that Azem?
Less so, Emmet Selk. I dare say the lines upon your brow have both deepened and doubled in number. A shame for one so young. You must make an effort to frown less often.
Easier said than done, thanks to your unruly successor.
Okay, alright. We're not,
How
the
is
sunder
he,
of her.
if I may ask?
Incorrigible as ever. Rushed headlong into a volcano on the brink of eruption just the other day. I should be glad to share the tale in its entirety later, if you're so inclined.
Oh, you know I am.
But nah.
Now then. You are?
Oh, you were just talking about me. Yeah, I mean, I'm not that guy. What are you talking about? What? Again, I love how they all have glowy eyes. I want glowy eyes. Why can't I have glowy eyes? Emeraldines make my eyes look... I thought my eyes were very bright and vibrant until I see the Emeraldines.
Say, have you perchance come from the future?
Fuck! She got it in one!
I do not believe we have ever met, yet I sense my magic upon you. Therefore, if I wove the enchantment, I could only have done so at a later point in time.
What manner of magic is this, if I may ask?
A traveler's ward, of course. It prevents the corruption of one's ether.
Oh! Oh, so to keep us from... Oh, the Echo! Okay. Keeps us... It's rather like the Blessing of Flight. Does it protect you from enthrallment by primals by any chance?
Primals, you say? Well, I'm not familiar with such beings, but if they enthrall by warping the balance of ether, then yes, the magic would afford you a measure of protection.
Hooray!
I gather from your question that you are not ignorant to its presence.
No.
Hold on. From the future? That's absurd.
What is it? Are you unable to speak of the matter?
A little bit, yeah. I'm not, I'm not trying to create a paradox here. I'm actually here just to learn.
The reality to which you must return exists as a result of the final days. You cannot reshape the past to undo the tragedies of the present.
So, your actions here will not change your history, but they may yet affect the course of ours.
Sure? Maybe?
How very exciting. I'm quite fond of delving into the unknown, and there's naught more unknown than the future.
Well, if you were the previous Ozzen, then yeah, you fit the bill on that one, don't you?
Until a moment finally arrives, we cannot know for certain what will come to pass, regardless of our supposed foreknowledge, so you needn't worry for us. More importantly, that you should go to such great lengths as to travel unto the past bespeaks the gravity of your quest. Will you not reveal it to us? Mayhap we can be of aid to your cause.
But I can't. I don't want to, like, cause paradoxes and alternate timelines.
If this is true, then you've been keeping quite the secret to yourself.
Shut up. You don't want to know the rest of what happens to you in the future, Bo.
As a representative of the Convocation, I will hear it all. Your identity, purpose, everything.
You don't want to know everything. You really don't.
Why don't we move to a place more conducive to calm conversation?
I say it's a place that also involves pizza.
I've been working here for some days now at an old friend's behest. If it is agreeable, we may make use of my accommodation at Poiton Oikos. We were meant to meet. I am certain of it.
Well, we do.
Else I wouldn't have marked you so clearly, and sent you unto myself in the past. It's precisely the sort of mischief I would get up to. And quite inspired, if I do say so myself.
Well, just don't forget to do it in the millennia that passes between here and then. My apologies, but before we move along, a colleague has tasked me with a matter which I'd rather not leave unresolved. It involves finding a certain concept-engraved crystal, and the quick-fingered Aureus which had made off with it. Hey there, Tyro. You do what you gotta do. I understand. Thank you for stopping by and saying hi, at least. An Aureus, you say? I think we might have seen the culprit before being distracted by that business with the shark. Would you like us to follow its ethereal trail? That would, of course, lead us only to the Aureus. There's no guarantee that it hasn't dropped or stashed away the crystal you seek. Please. Even that much would be an enormous help. It would be enormously helpful. While you are hunting down the thief, I can follow behind and scour the forest floor just in case. Could I ask you to join the search? I would appreciate another pair of eyes to cover the land to the west of there. West of here. Many thanks. There's a small bridge leading into Poiton Oikos. Let us meet up there once we've exhausted our efforts. Okie dokie. This way! Whee! Looking for a little spriggin'. Looking for a little spriggin'. Catch a little crystal, yeah. Gonna find a spriggin' with a crystal, yeah. It's hiding out somewhere and I'm gonna find it. It cannot hide from me forever because I'm tenacious and I won't give up. Hey, look, concept crystal. Gonna sneeze, yeah. There it was. Ah. Nice. What is that? What is that icon? Is that where we came from? Is that the icon of the, just for the, teleporter? It must be, because there's nothing else here. But then why doesn't that one have it? That's confusing to me. Ooh, look at the Minotaur over there. Found your concept crystal. Hope you like it. Our last searcher returns. I am afraid the Orias no longer had the crystal, nor was I able to find it as it followed in its wake. I don't suppose you fared any better? Doesn't this crystal look familiar? At least in the little icon there. The crystal! Well done! Wonderful. Now I can focus on your tale without that missing concept nagging at my mind. Have you always had a knack for finding things? I've been asked traveling and searching on it. I've often been asked to do so. Fetch quest, you know. Oh, you too! Some of us seem destined to always be searching. For ourselves and for others. Long ago, when I held the seat of Azem, I was forever trekking back and forth across the star in search of answers to people's problems. Naturally, the need for such journeys has lessened considerably since I entrusted the position to my whimsical successor. Yet I am still eager to come running should an old acquaintance or new interest require my personal attention. That is what brings me to Elpis, in fact. Many times has my presence been requested. My opinion sought concerning the habitats of this or that creation. Agreeing to help locate the missing crystal was a minor distraction, which now promises to become a major revelation. How strange and wonderful it is that the way one thing leads to another. Wouldn't you agree? I will agree because the game says I do. Thank you again for your timely help. Now then, 'tis time I return to this stolen property. If you would go on ahead to my accommodation, I will join you as soon as I have attended to that task. Follow the path straight ahead to the building at the top of the slope. I have the entire place to myself, so we can speak without fear of being disturbed or overheard. Well, aren't you just special? Fire breath! Woohoo! And new location. Ooh, you know what? Let's take a minute. Let's go Dragon's Dogma on this sumbitch. Let's fill in the map. Only if it was Dragon's Dogma, I'd be doing this while fighting a giant dragon. You know, because it's what I do. Ooh, look at the Pegasus. It's so pretty. Pretty, pretty Pegasus. Pegasus are pretty. Pretty awesome, that is. Sorry, that last sneeze, it hit me. I gotta blow my nose now. Gotta get this off my head. There we go. That's better. Hello, Featherhoof. I come calling, and you know there damn well better be pizza. Wow, you have the whole place to yourself. All of this? Wow, I'm jealous. Man, this whole room's just you. Woo! Come on, there we go. Welcome to my temporary abode. Please make yourself at home while I put on some tea. Oh, I don't want tea. I want hot chocolate, because I am a child. Your tea's all getting cold, bastards. Drink it!
A wonderful aroma. I feel more relaxed already.
Let me guess, chai?
Would that I had sweetmeats to offer, but I travel light out of habit. There's plenty of hot water though, so please have as much tea as you like.
Oh, that's Answers in the background. That's a piano instrumental version of Answers. Huh.
Now then, will you tell us your tale?
Hey, you leave my tail out of this. What? Oh. Let's see. That's a little blunt. Mankind's being forced to flee the star.
Why don't you start from the beginning?
Because I'm at the beginning, right here, right now. Everyone's apparently really good at reading lips. Hi, Dylan. Asians. How much are we fully telling them? But did we just tell Emmett Selk about what Emmett Selk is going to do in the future? Is this a bad idea? Thought we weren't supposed to be changing shit. Where's Elidibus? I thought Elidibus was supposed to be here to have memory of us being here.
Preposterous. Utterly preposterous.
Yeah, believe if you want,
Not
Bo.
the words I would have chosen. I too have my doubts. Much of it borders on the incredulous.
What, your words or or my story?
What of you, Vanar?
Not knowing the precise details of the first final days, it is difficult to determine the veracity of the tale. Supposing it is all true, I must ask myself why I would do what I did.
For the greater good? I don't know. Shits and giggles?
Why would I feel I had no recourse but to oppose the 14 and create this Heidelin? Circumstances change, of course, but it would not have been an easy decision regardless. No, there must have been a reason. One compelling enough to force me to take such drastic measures. Then there is the Elpis Flower, which I said would serve as a guide. That it's of import to your mission is plain, but your presence here leads me to believe that this place also holds significance. But what could it be? What are we meant to accomplish?
Something wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, I'm sure.
Might it not be simply thus? In the future whence he came, the final days could not be averted. Mankind has no choice but to flee the star.
Right.
By alerting us to that eventuality, perhaps you wish to pave the way for other futures.
Theoretically speaking, it is a possibility. Yet if that were my primary objective, I see no reason to guide our friend to Elpis specifically. the capital on Amarot, or even my own home would be more logical destinations.
Well, technically, you didn't lead me here. I mean, Elpis did.
True, true. I note also that Hydaelyn did not specify a point in time to which he must return. By this, it may be inferred that it was not critical that we should meet.
Alternately, she had reason to believe that our paths would converge, coincidental though it may seem.
This is quite a puzzle. And we do not have all the pieces.
Yeah, I know about not having all the pieces. Trust me, I don't have it all up here, but even I'm wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff. It always starts to get confusing.
Hardly any. But we do have one immutable fact.
Well, it's not me because I'm obviously a mute.
If the final days are indeed as described, they will bring death to all.
Whoa! What happened to your eye? Look at her right eye on the inner part of it on the bottom. It like comes in and then a sharp angle down and then goes around. Someone wasn't paying attention when they were doing that model right there. Her eyeball's clipping through her lower eyelid, and it's creepy as hell.
Yet despite being afforded long years of preparation, the only provisions I could make were for flight. No. My first and foremost endeavor would be to find a way to forestall the coming doom.
Doom.
Given that even the 14 failed, mayhap you deemed it impossible.
Nothing is impossible. This I have always believed. And if Hydaelyn is indeed me, she would believe the same.
Listen to yourself. Are you seriously entertaining the notion that you are a messianic figure in some far-fetched tale?
Oh boy. Emmett.
Well,
Do you always have to get in the
will
way?
not. I refuse to accept that our world could be undone by some unforeseen calamity.
Well, fine. When it happens, then you can come back to me and apologize for being a douche nozzle.
I also take offense to my portrayal as a megalomaniacal madman.
Too bad, because that's how it went down.
To sacrifice oneself for the star is a noble act, and I would hold those who gave themselves to this zodiac in the highest esteem. Yet, you claim I recreated Amarot and populated it with phantoms of our people? A bizarre indulgence that would be insulting to their memory. Worse still, I even invited you there. Literally invited my own downfall. Why would I do something so idiotic and inexplicable?
Because at the time we were, slowly being transformed into a Sin Eater, and you felt no threat from us whatsoever at the time, and we're sort of just like kind of rubbing it in our face, and also still trying to persuade us to your way of thinking at the same time.
Now, I will allow that the hypothetical task of restoring our world would be daunting in the extreme. The thought of having to bear such a burden for 1,000 lives horrifies me. But I would never forsake my duty. I would never forsake my brethren.
Yeah.
You do not know me.
Look, I don't know this you. I know the you from the future, okay? That's the you I knew. And to be perfectly honest, as crazy and evil as you were, still kind of liked you. Grumpy young Emmett Selk is not nearly as fun.
I've had my fill of your fiction. I will return to my duty, and you will not bother me again.
Emmett Selk, wait!
Bye! I guess we left out the part about how we're
You've seen much of Elpis already.
a version of his
If you
friend.
have any observations to share, I should like to hear them.
I mean, 1 and 2 are both true. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna go with Dynamis, like / Ashara.
Ah, yes. The energy distinct from ether. Though not my field, I have a basic understanding of Dynamis. And you say Hermes researched the phenomenon in the course of creating Meteon? Yes. I believe this warrants further investigation.
I do too. Because the story wouldn't introduce it if it was, you know,
settled,
completely useless and stupid.
It is time for action.
Because that would be stupid.
The missing pieces of the puzzle are here, I'm certain of it. And when you find them, the picture my future self has painted will be complete. And you will have your answer.
Hooray!
Now,
I like
suffice it
having
to say,
answers.
I will aid you in your quest.
Oh, Emmett.
Have faith. If Emmet Selk is the man Azum described to me, we've not seen the last of him.
Well, I mean, maybe not. I mean, I thought Shadowbringers was going to be the last I saw of him, and he's still back anyway, so I'm fine with that. More Emmett Selk is yay for me, even if it is grumpy young Emmett Selk. It's just something I love about the man. Shall we begin our investigations, then? I am acquainted with Hermes, of course, but only as a visitor received by the chief overseer of Elpis. Of the man himself, I know only that which is common knowledge. Thus, I suggest we fall back on the tried-and-true method of conversing with the locals. The observers who live here can surely tell us more of Hermes and Meteon, and I have a good idea of where we might begin. Ooh. Oh, side quests! Suddenly side quests! Side quests everywhere! Hi. Give me that, please. Oh, and I better hit that up while I have the chance before I forget. So you know me, I will forget. And then I'll be all like, "Eh, why can't I teleport back there? What the fuck happened? Did it fuck up on me? Did it freak out? Did it glitch?" And then I'll completely forget that, you know, I was like, "Oh yeah, that was my fault." Oh, I thought that said troubled taxidermist. Let's see, where are we going? Oh, there's Vana. Hello, Vana. See you the woman standing in front of the yonder building. Her name is Ismene. She is the one who made arrangements for my stay in Elpis, and from what I recall, she has held her position here for quite some time. Chances are she can provide us with some insights. Go and ask your questions. I will help with drawing out answers if need be, but I leave the choice of topic up to you. Hello, Ismene. Questions? For me? Well, I suppose I have no other pressing duties at the moment. Oh, the following event cannot be skipped. You may wish to cancel any pending... Oh, okay. We're going into an event again. Alright. Here we go. Hi, Venny. Greeting, Ismene. My friend here is desperately curious about Chief Hermes, and I was wondering if you might indulge him. Certainly, Mistress Vana. Anything to be of service. What do you wish to know? What kind of person is this Hermes? Well, I can only answer from my own experience, but I would describe him as a quiet man, reserved, you might say, and occasionally somewhat poor with his choice of words. His reticent nature, however, does not prevent him from carrying out his duties as chief overseer. The man is a walking archive when it comes to life forms. He can discuss any species in incredible detail. and is the leading authority on concepts with the power of flight. I hope that answers your question. Was there anything else? Do you know of Meteon's abilities? It's no secret that she is a highly unusual familiar. Of late, the chief often makes his rounds with her, like a mother hen raising her chick. I understand that she is able to read emotions and communicate directly with one's mind. Exactly how she was created with that talent, however, is a mystery to me. My apologies. I wish I could explain her nature in more depth, but I've not had occasion to discuss it with Chief Hermes. Do you trust him seems more accusatory. The chief may not be the most gregarious individual, but he engages with us as is necessary for everyone to perform their duties. I wouldn't want to intrude upon his privacy for the sake of curiosity. Though, if you wish to learn more about Meteon, you could try speaking with Timaeus, another expert on the creation of flying concepts. He should be conducting his observations on the banks of the stream, somewhere to the east. Oh, and, unless you take a particular joy in rambling discourse, I suggest you keep your questions concise. We shall keep that in mind. Thank you for your patience and your insight. Think nothing of it. If there is aught else you need during your stay, please do not hesitate to ask. Can you create pizza or cheesecake? Come, Warren. I think we've taken enough of Yasmin's time. But she said anything. She said anything. Oh, I want pizza and cheesecake. Oh, there we go. I used my mount to travel that far distance. Our investigation is off to a fine start. Would you agree? From here, I propose that we split up. I shall continue making inquiries with the resident observers. If you could track down the colleague Yasmin mentioned. Given how you steered that previous conversation, 'tis plain you need no assistance from me. All I ask is that you watch your footing around the stream. We can meet back here once you've finished speaking with this Timaeus. Alright. Hopper! Pegasus! Wherefore art thou, dude? Oh, there's dude! Woo! Yes, I am Timaeus. Please keep your voice down. You'll startle the birds. Alright, time for interrogation number 2. Oh. So, what is it that you wish to speak about? What do you think of Chief Hermes' flying? He said be concise with this chick. Chief Hermes' work. A worthy subject indeed. Those beings which soar through the clouds, majestic and graceful, are ever a favorite of creators. Even now, with so many varieties in existence, the flood of newly imagined concepts continues unabated. What sets the chief's creations apart, however, is how they benefit from his boundless knowledge of the celestial realm. Birds that climb so high that they disappear from view. Others which traverse the boundless sky in moments, and all without riding the currents. I know of none save he who can conceive of such marvels. Even we who prize elegance of form above all else are dumbfounded by his genius. Straight to the point. Straight to the point. My opinion on that matter would be superficial at best. Despite my admiration for Meteon as a concept, I have never delved too deeply into the inner workings of her nature. I know that she has a gift for communicating via emotions, but otherwise, her abilities are a mystery to me. If Chief Hermes should choose to submit Meteon's concept to the Bureau of the Architect, then will the design be registered for public scrutiny? Analyzing a colleague's creation before that step is frowned upon, to say the least. Of course, if he came to me, a fellow artisan, looking for advice, that would be an entirely different story. Do you know of Dynamis and Entelechies? Dynamis and Entelechies? Those terms do sound vaguely familiar. Was there not a flower here in the Elpis which exhibited properties of one or the other? It must have been centuries since I last heard anyone speak of such things. Has there been a resurgence in interest? And why bring up the subject? I'm flattered that you sought my insight, but I cannot afford to neglect my duties for the sake of idle chatter. Now, I really must return to my observations. Surely you have your own tasks to attend to? Did I do good or bad? I'm not exactly sure how that one went. Pegasus! Yay! Hey, dude over here! Hey, dude, check it out! I got a Pegasus too, Errato! Errato, look, I got a Pegasus too! Fine. Errato doesn't care. She doesn't care about my Pegasus. I see how it is, and I don't care about hers, even though she also has a Pegasus, and Pegasus are awesome, and I want to see more Pegasus. Hi, Ivana. Back already? That was quick work. You were obviously clever enough to head off any of that rambling Ismene mentioned. So, have you any new findings to share? I see. Even an expert in the field had little understanding of Meteon's capabilities, let alone an awareness of Dynamis. My questions resulted in much the same answers. Hermes' colleagues view Meteon as his personal project, and could provide no detail beyond those which you just told me. Which leads me to believe that the only person with any significant knowledge of Dynamis is Hermes himself. Yes, we've made some progress here, but more information is needed if we are to reach any definitive conclusions. Dooby-doo-doo-doo-doo. Okay. At present, the strongest link we have to the final days is the power of Dynamis, and the entelechies which can control it. Yet most scholars are only vaguely aware of these terms, let alone study them in any depth. Except for Hermes, it seems. Thus, I am inclined to stay our current course, and learn all we can about the Chief Overseer and his familiar. And on that subject, was there aught else of note you can tell me about Meteon? Aside from the unorthodox method of communication. That one. I rather wish you had mentioned that earlier. In any event, would you care to elaborate? So these siblings of hers now travel the great expanse in search of deeper meaning. Thank you. Though the mystery at hand remains unresolved, I feel you've touched upon a vital clue, one we should keep in mind as we continue. Next, I propose we take ourselves to... Oh, fuck me. Peripetai Crystalline. Not far from here. Just follow the path to the west. Okie dokie. Car. I have a car. Hey, Vada! I got a car. This tower and the one further along are both part of Peripetai Crystalline, the facility where they archive all of Elpis's observational and testing records. Despite how they reappear from the outside... Where did that come from? Despite how they appear from the outside, the interior is actually a vast area of magically interconnected spaces, which, while fascinating, is not the reason we are here, is it? I shall cut my ethereal lesson short and see what those two archivists have to share. If you could find someone to speak with over at the other tower, I shall join you there anon. The other tower... Oh, there. Ah, no, not that mount. That's better. Hello? You have questions for me? Certainly. Just a moment while I conclude my current appointment. Indeed. So if you could provide a comprehensive log of those behaviors, we should then have sufficient data for our official records. Okay. I do that. Now, what was it you wished to speak with me about? The Chief Overseer's personal research project. And by that I assume you mean Meteon. Such undocumented studies are difficult to track. After all, hardly a day goes past without seeing a researcher trailed by one creation or another. I'm afraid I cannot tell you exactly when Meteon appeared, only that she now spends much of her time at Chief Hermes' side. You know what, Blackfoot? I'll go with yeah, sure. Although I do recall an interesting tale my dearest Galeen shared with me. Ah, Galeen is my partner, and a fellow researcher here in Elpis. She was returning late one night when she caught sight of Chief Hermes sending Meteon heavensward, a host of them. For several days she would speak of that scene with wonder, describing it as one of the most beautiful spectacles she had ever witnessed. That sounds like a story I should like to hear. Oh! Mistress Vanna, I thought you had already returned to the surface. Permit me to thank you again for your invaluable contribution to our concept placement proposal. Triple P! Got it! Pray, do not mention it. As you say, my original plan was to leave after that task, but I have since become engrossed with Chief Hermes' research. Would you favor me with a retelling of this sight which so delighted your Galeen? Of course. Or you could hear it from her directly. Wait. Or you could hear it from her lips directly, if you prefer. At present, she should be observing a subject in Metabasos Thalassai. She does enjoy her time there, watching the sea creatures hunt and play, gazing upon the salty waters of the world's oceans, recreated in such sublime detail. I imagine you must find similar joy in indulging your boundless curiosity, Mistress Vanna. Even though such pursuits must continually and regretfully delay your return to the star. Indeed they do. 'Tis a rest well deserved and long overdue, I should think. How greatly have you prospered for the wisdom you accumulated during your travels as Asem. And what would Elpis be without your earlier academic work? The theories you developed served as a basis of many techniques still in use today. Man is a creature of contemplation, but none embody that nature with as much enduring passion as you. Aye, I dare say there is not a soul alive more worthy of a return. I shall rejoice the day you depart on your final journey. I will be honored. Well, shall we take this opportunity to meet with Galeen in person? Man, everyone's so, interested and, just ready to return to the star. And allow me to reconfigure the door to the archives here. It will take you up to the Skyway and spare you the need to avoid hostile concepts on the ground. That would be most helpful, thank you. Everyone's just sort of just like, man, can't wait to get my shit done so I can just, die. Oh, I mean, return to the star. I have opened the path to the Skyway. Once you pass through the door, simply walk straight across to the next tower and ask for admittance to the upper tier. Upon arriving at the upper tier, walk straight across the Skyway and you will find yourself at the entrance of Metabasis Thalassai. Galeen will be eager to share her tale with you, I am sure. Okay, I do that. Oh! Or it's going to be done for me. One of those two things. Hello, approachable archivist. How are you? Mistress Vanna, just passing through? Then allow me to prepare the path. If you need further assistance, there is always an observer or two out on the upper Skyway. Nice. Hello? Ah, there you are. Mistress Vana! I was told not to... I was not told to expect... We would have prepared an official welcome. Please, there is no need for fanfare. I only wish to speak with Galeen, if that might be arranged. Yes, Galeen. Of course, I will inform her immediately. But she may be engaged in a testing phase. You could be in for something of a wait. Should I let her know your business is urgent? That won't be necessary. This lovely view will keep us occupied until she is ready to receive us. Those lampposts look like Reaper scythes.
A delightful breeze and a breathtaking view.
It is. Oh yeah, and that's and the scenery is beautiful too. Hello, Manor over there.
What is it like
Were
in
we
the
over there?
future? Is the world still a beautiful place?
Well, which one? There's 14 of them now, and some not so beautiful. Also, some dead and destroyed. Yeah, let's go with that.
Dark, hidden places, rife with danger. Those have an altogether different, but no less powerful sort of appeal. While we wait, will you not tell me about your adventures?
Well, you got time? I mean, that's going to take several days just to get through all the cutscenes.
Well, not the portentous events which led you here, but the simple delights all your own.
Oh. Yeah, we can get through that pretty quickly.
By learning about the future world, I may gain insight into future me's plans. But more than that, I have an interest simply as a fellow traveler. Short of going somewhere oneself, there's naught more stirring than hearing another's account.
Well, I mean, being Hydaelyn, you will see it one day anyway. Don't laugh at that. Ooh. And that's the time I killed, I killed Gaius for the 38th time.
Incredible. Would that I could have been there to see it. Yours is a harsh and unforgiving world. Yet in spite of this, your brethren hold fast to their virtue. To know that the light of mankind's potential still shines, even in that faraway place, it gives me heart.
Yeah, but we don't have those creation magics anymore like you all have.
Thank you for regaling me with your tales. I will treasure every word.
You better.
As you know, I was once a scholar. And among other things, I sought to understand the workings of the world.
I'm sorry to hear. You being a scholar and all. A lot of scholar mains are very upset with this expansion's changes to the job, or so I've heard. Were you equally as upset?
What exactly is ether? How formed the laws of nature? When sprung mankind? Riddles and mysteries beyond counting. Over the years, I have managed to find answers to some few of them. Yet rather than attain a sense of mastery, the more I understood, the more I came to hold the world and its miracles in awe. We too are miracles. Each and every one of us. Born of the warm breath of life that traverses the heavens, swirling through eternity. When I fully grasped the improbability of our existence, nothing felt impossible anymore. If it could be imagined, it could be done.
Sure. If only that were true.
A passion swelled within me. An epiphany dispelling all preconceptions of what was natural and true. And a presence without. Immense, yet intimate. Fate, perhaps. Holding us in its tender embrace.
So I guess you didn't imagine your a world where your hair didn't clip through your robes. That apparently you didn't imagine that one.
As reassuring as it was intimidating. How keenly aware I became of creation's fragility, built as it is upon precarious happenstance. I was overcome with an irrepressible urge to know the world more intimately, to hear its voice, feel its breath.
Hear, feel, you gotta think too?
I ventured forth on a journey that very day. So very long ago now. Freed from presumption and prejudice, I saw the world through a newborn's eyes. Everything fresh and new. And so beautiful. Lands that stretched on forever. Skies one could drown in. The heartbeat of nature. Silent yet strong, and amidst it all a people. Beacons of light and life. Laughter that warmed my heart like naught else before. They are my meaning, and my purpose. My love.
Oh.
And so long as they need help, I cannot return to the star. Perhaps my future self is still waiting for it. The moment she can let go and walk unto the end. Safe in the knowledge that man will find his own way. You, who are our future, tell me this, and tell me true. Has your journey been good? Has it been worthwhile?
Why does this feel like a survey that the devs put in to make sure that the people playing the game are happy with it? I would say yes.
Pray forgive my lateness.
Oh.
My
I
observation subject was rather irritable, and it took a while to settle it down.
No need to apologize. Your work takes precedence. Besides, we had a pleasant conversation in the meantime.
You're too kind. Now then, I'm told you wished to ask me some questions.
I do.
Indeed. I've an interest in one of Hermes' creations. Meteon. You witnessed a host of them take flight, yes?
Oh, that! Yes, I did. 'Twas in
Tell
the
us all
dark
about
of the morn. I'd left the Thalassai after nocturnal observation. As I walked along, I spied a bright light climbing high into the southeastern skies. Then, in an instant, it was gone. Like a shooting star, only rising rather than falling. But then another shot up. Then another, and another. Intrigued, I made my way to the edge to investigate. And who should I spy on an isle to the south but Hermes and Meteon, the Metea, rather.
Oh, okay.
There were lots of them, and I realized they must be the shooting stars that I'd seen.
A dazzling spectacle indeed. Have you spoken with Hermes about this?
Oh, yes. The site left such an impression on me that I approached him about his mystery project the very next day. Alas, he said that he couldn't reveal anything just yet, that he needed to conduct further tests. It shouldn't be long now, though. He often returns to that isle, and I have a feeling he's nearing a breakthrough.
I do like breakthroughs. Alright.
Splendid. We are likewise eager for the details. Well, that is all we wish to ask. Thank you for taking the time to indulge our curiosity.
You're very welcome. It's always a pleasure to speak with other inquisitive souls. Oh, and will you be descending now? If so, I shall link the doors for you.
Please.
Oh, well, at least Vana is polite. Hey. So another piece of the puzzle falls into place. From what we've learned thus far, I think we can safely conclude that Hermes hasn't been revealing the details of his research to others. Which suggests that either someone will appropriate his discoveries and make use of them, or that Hermes himself will have a hand in causing the final days. Since we have no reason yet to suspect the former, we should consider the latter the more likely possibility. Proceeding under that assumption, our next step should be to define why, or even if, he might desire such a terrible fate for our star. More side quests showed up. I should like to visit the site from which Hermes set forth the Matea. If we are fortunate, we might find some hint of what drives this research of his. Galeen said she spotted them in the southeast, rising from an isle she could see from the edge. If we stand at that same vantage point, it should not prove too difficult to locate the isle in question. Let's take a look, shall we? Okay. Whee! Yes, I also spent time between episodes yesterday and today getting my riding map for this area. Just so I wouldn't have the slow mount speed. Because it drives me nuts. Oh, it's a cactuar. Named Euros 310. Okay. You're a pretty monster. You're also a pretty monster. Okay, now you're not so pretty anymore. Try to... You know what? Fine. You want to fight? Let's go for it, buddy. Let's go. Let's do it. You die. You asked for it. You wanted to attack me. You saw it. Self-defense. It's coming right for us. I think it might be that one. Just taking a guess. Now, if I were conducting some mystery research, where would I go? To a secluded island in plain sight, of course. Ah, what about that one? Have you the means to fly? 'Tis quite a distance away. Inconvenient, but hardly an insurmountable problem. To me, Argus. Hi, Argus. I know you in the future on the moon. My friend, would you mind creating a double to carry Warren here over to that island? Liana. Stubborn creature. There is no place on this great star we have not together traveled, and still he remains obstinate to the presence of strangers. Oh, in the presence of it. Argos has rather exacting standards, I'm afraid. What? You've ridden him before? Ah, your before, meaning my after. Not at all confusing, that. Interesting. Tis certainly not unthinkable. But speaking of the here and now, the quickest solution is for us to face off in the sparring match. I'm sorry, what? Demonstrate to him that you are capable of holding your own against me in battle, and you should convince Argos that you are worthy on his back. Of his back. And besides, I might even teach you a thing or two in the bargain. You seem doubtful, but useful lesson or not, it will certainly be a moment to remember, a memory of the distant past to cherish. What say you, traveler out of time? And if this memory turns out to be a bad one? That's up to you, isn't it? If a loss would sting, then you had better win. Clear your mind and prepare your weapons. I will await you at the clearing over yonder. Oh, you want that? Oh, she wants this. Oh, she wants my stabbing death. I will provide. Ah, no, I'm not. There we go. Ooh, ether current. Mine. Not yours, mine. How many is that? Is that like, I'm like the first one? Well, not shared fates. I need ether currents. Oh no, I found 2 others. Okay. Oh, let's pass it. All right, Meanat. You want to fight? I'll fight you. To the field of battle with Vinat. Shall we begin? Be warned, I'll not go easy on you. All right, I got this. Is this battle music? Can I just sit here and listen to this? Do I have to fight? Can we just like sit here and listen to this together?
Let neither side hold back.
Okay, I'm doing very little damage to you. Oh!
My blade sings!
What are you doing? Oh, you're doing that. Thank God I came back over here. Boink. No! Ay, ay, ay. Oh, hello. What is this? Hey,
My
get
blade sings!
back here. Ooh, okay. Doing very little damage to her. She has the power to do lots to me.
I shall have to try something different.
No, you don't. You can just stick with what you're doing until I beat you.
quarter.
How about a half? Boink.
Have a taste.
I see what we're doing here. Okay. Whoa! Yeah. A little too much for me. Slow down. Slow your roll here. A little too much. Stop it.
I see you won't be easily overcome, but neither
Thank you.
will
I think. Oh. She switched job. Oh, she's a white mage now. Hey, I'm not allowed. How come she gets to switch jobs in the middle of battle? I'm not allowed to do that. Ouch. Oh, God. What am I looking? Ah, crap. What am I looking for here? Okay. I see.
Prepare yourself.
Don't think so. Don't think so. Don't think so. True holy what? Look. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. Can white mages get her abilities?
We've only just begun. Come at
Hero's
me with
mantle.
your all.
I'm trying to. But I think you're better than me. Oh, no, she's paladin. Okay. Again, not fair that she can switch, you know, at will, and I can't. Ah, fuck.
Very well. Let us move to the final trial.
Kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it, kill it. Wait, did I kill it or not kill it? Oh, it's gone. Sweet. Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. Okay, you gotta kill the purple ones first. They move much, much faster. No! Damn it! What? How did you not disappear? Did I get it? No, I didn't get it. Oh, fuck! Stop! Could you please stop? Am I winning? Am I winning? Did I win? Are we done? Ow! Oh, she's into that kinky shit. She's into bondage, huh?
Break your chains, shed your burdens, and show me your strength of will.
I'm trying to, but you bound me with chains. Oh, she's limit breaking me. Ugh.
You still stand. The people of your time are more resilient than I had dared hope. I have seen enough.
It reminds me of the climactic scene at the end of Disc 1 of Final Fantasy VII, where it's just like the music is so soft, it doesn't feel right for it to be part of a boss battle.
'Twas my intent to finish it, but clearly I underestimated you.
Clearly you did.
One would think I never learn. I made the same mistake with Azam when we first sparred. Despite being less than half my age, his strength was astounding.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, his must be great. Uh-huh. Yeah.
As is yours. 'Tis plain you have weathered considerable hardship. Far more even than your tales would suggest. It seems we have both learned much on our journeys.
Pupper. Puppermount! Hello, Puppermount.
Well,
Good to
now,
keep you now.
I dare say he has warmed to you. A boon to be sure. He never forgets his favorites, and is ever eager to come to their aid.
And now we know why they were so happy to see us on the moon. And creepily, he also seems to have Vanna's eyes. Argos will soon have us standing on the very spot where the Metia made their departure into the night sky. With luck, we will learn something of Hermes' intentions. My hope is that we find no connection, no festering wish for oblivion. Then we might have Hermes and his considerable expertise working for us, rather than against us. Okie dokie. Actually, give me just a second. I will be right back. I want to take a second to, because I forgot to, like, grab my, like, usual drinks and stuff before I started the stream. So I'll be right back. I'm thirsty. And my current drink is gone. I have returned. Alright. Yeah. Got myself some body armor. I love body armor. I just do. So much better than Gatorade or Powerade combined. Ooh, a flower upon your return. Let's do it. Let us move over to the edge before mounting, shall we? That will allow Argos to catch the currents rising up from below and give us a smooth ride over to the isle. Argos is cute. What's that breed of dog? You know, what is it, an Afghan or something like that? The ones that have those long hairs like that? Makes it look like they're wearing a big old coat. Argos motions to his back with his muzzle. You've been given the go-ahead to hop on. Yes! Whee! Argos launches into the air. Isn't this pleasant? Argos certainly seems to think so. Ah. Pretty. Now, what was the name of that tree? I don't know. No, something. Neotophorin. Quite a striking specimen, is it not? Neotophorion. Hello? Brace yourself for the landing. I wouldn't want you tumbling off at the last moment.
Quite a small place, lacking even the most basic equipment.
That's what she said.
The present may yield no clues, but we may yet try perusing the past. Have you done this before?
The Echo. You gave it to me, lady.
So you cannot control the power freely. Worry not. I shall assist you. Come and stand before me. There are two ways to see the past. The first entails peering through the walls of the soul in the moment a subject is recalling a memory. The second requires no subject, and is instead a process of piecing together an event from ripples left in the ambient ether.
So finding ghosts?
As memories are etched upon the ether of the soul, so too are they etched upon the ether of the world. In this way can history be preserved. Such memories are given to fading, however, and can prove challenging to visit. But come, let us try. Close your eyes.
I don't wanna. But I guess I'm gonna. After all these years, we finally used the Echo at will! Albeit with a little bit of help.
All units fully functional and proceeding on course towards their respective stars. Estimated time to completion of survey is 108 cycles.
Hey, wait a minute. You usually have problems speaking out loud.
End of status report. Severing connection with shared consciousness.
Oh.
Did you hear that, Hermes? All is well.
Yes. Good tidings at long last.
You have a long neck.
Every step of the
but
way.
beautiful
I've been reminded
eyes.
how little we understand creation. How the universe defies imagination.
But soon we won't need to speculate. We'll know the answers. What others live for.
Indeed. And we'll owe it all to you and your sisters.
I wonder what answers we will get.
Whatever intelligent beings that exist out there are bound to be vastly different from us.
So Hermes is just a Final Fantasy version of Fox Mulder.
Diverse in form.
He wants to believe.
Possessed of unique ways of thinking. Their conception of life and its purpose will be no exception. Completely and utterly unlike ours.
Utterly unlike... how?
I have no idea. Yet whatever answers we receive, I will not dismiss them out of hand. No. I will think earnestly on them all, and I will share them with our people, that together we may contemplate our own existence. Perhaps then our star will become a better place. Not only for man, but for all life.
You're going to invite the Greys over, man. They're going to come down to their spaceships and they're going to freaking kidnap you and put stuff up your butt. They're going to probe you.
Meteon, as though I gave you wings to soar the heavens.
You did?
Did not
Those things
teach
on her
you how to
head?
walk the earth. So loath was I to bind another living being. In the course of your long journey, you will learn from those you meet. Learn to walk and run and so much more. And when you return, older and wiser, we will have a celebration to mark your homecoming and coming of age both.
Will there be apples? Covered in syrup?
And how are you supposed to eat them? Rather than food.
Hey there, Liz. It was that guy, Hermes.
Yes. Upon your return, I will gift you a beautiful flower.
So that I can eat it? Do flowers taste good?
So, what is your opinion?
Hermes wouldn't wish to fight. Hermes is just soul. Hermes is a too gentle of a soul. I mean, he is just like the gentlest of souls to the point where he's going to be very easy to break. As we've seen with future him as Fandaniel. I mean, goddamn. I mean, that's what I would say is like, I don't think he would. I mean, this version of Hermes wouldn't wish for the final days, but we saw what he became. So, I mean, I'm going to go with that.
I understand. He is a gentle soul, and well-intentioned. Yet it does not take ill intent to beget ill.
There's the old saying, the path to hell is paved with good intentions.
We must consider the possibility that something may have gone awry. Perhaps it was oversight, or simply an accident. In light of this, I propose that we reveal your tale to Hermes himself.
I don't know if Hermes would like to hear what became of him.
If he does not wish for the final days, as we believe, he may well join us in pursuing a solution. Then it is settled. Let us seek out our friend with all swiftness.
Oh,
It would
BKB.
not do to let such a pure soul be blackened by tragedy.
Well, it's like a little bit said, we can't undo it. What's happened is going to happen. And it has to happen for us to have a world to return to. There are any number of places where Hermes might be in Elpis. But we could do worse than to look in Ctissus Hyperborea, the largest facility. It stands in Ethoselatikos Boreas, the Northern Isle. I wonder, Warren, for an institution which claims to studiously research every species destined for release into the world, did you not question how they find room for them all in so few islands? The answers lie within Ctissus. Ctissus itself. I touched upon the practice before back at the archives, where a vast area is stitched together out of multiple conceptual spaces. The same holds true for the interior of this facility, and its magically constructed environs. 'Tis there, within those sprawling habitats, that the chief overseer and most of the Elpis' observers conduct the bulk of their work. Come, the simplest route is via the newest north of Poiten Oikos. I know that was said earlier, but I still have problems saying some of these words if I don't hear them regularly. So many more side quests, goddamn! Look at them all! So many side quests, goddamn. We'll come back and do them someday. We will. I want to get through the story, and I also want to start the new raid that was introduced, what, just a few days ago. I can't do that until I finish the story. Start working on getting my endgame armors and everything. And start leveling up other classes. Should I go do white? I think I'm going to do White Mage next. I think White Mage is going to be my next class to start leveling up. Oh, and then there's also the job quest. We got to start doing job quests too. There's a lot to do. I can't wait to start it. This appears to be a teleporter Vina told you about. Motes of light yet hang in the air, suspecting the device was but recently activated. You could have waited. Sheesh. Ah, good. The newest acknowledged you as my guest. You should now have the authority to use it as you wish. As for the way to Ctissus Hyperborea, we follow this path, then turn left at the crossroads. Oh, then what's that straight ahead, then? I guess that's not it. We're going... Oh, hello. I'm sorry, do we have a problem? Ha, I'm faster than you. This place is big. Here we are, the grandest research facility in Elpis. You should head inside and ask after Hermes' whereabouts. Hermes is at another facility, as we have just discovered. Hi, you two! How you been? Furthermore, we've confirmed that his studies into Dynamis, as well as his creation of Meteion, were entirely private pursuits. No one else we spoke with appears to possess the chief's depth of knowledge on the subject, and neither did we hear any tales of stolen research. Which means that if Hermes himself harbors no desire to bring down an apocalypse, then he might be recruited to help prevent another one. Or so saith the illustrious Emmett Selk. According to your story, the 14 divined the connection between the celestial currents and the final days, but were never able to pinpoint the root cause of the calamity. With our people's greatest minds, not to mention Hythlodaeus' sharp eyes, committed to the pursuit of a solution, such an outcome seems inconceivable. The only possible explanation is that if the nature of the catalyst... Let me try that again. The only possible explanation is if the nature of the catalyst was so inexplicable that even we failed to perceive it. And what better fits the description than that invisible, intangible dynamis? Which in turn leads us to our next question. How did Hermes, in his role as Fandaniel, not recognize the subject of his own research? We must assume that he either knew and was unable to help, or that he was otherwise prevented from identifying the cause in the first place. At this juncture, all we can do is speculate. To be clear, the Convocation does not tolerate acts of deception or malice. We are practiced at perceiving truth, and would have known had Fandaniel lied to us. Hermes has no conscious wish for the will to end. Of that, I am certain. It seems there isn't more to the tale after all. Maybe it's the Metia. We conducted an investigation of our own, you see. Maybe it's the Metia. They went out, and what they saw caused them to go crazy and evil-like and come back and cause the final days. How comforting. We seem to have reached the exact same conclusion. I see no reason to delay further. 'Tis time we brought Hermes into the fold, as it were. Into the fold, as it were. If I say thank you, he's just gonna brush it off with a sarcastic asshole-ish remarks. Let's just not say nothing at all. This does not mean I believe your ridiculous story. But, as Emmett Selk, I have a duty to examine any potential threat to our existence, no matter how ludicrous or personally offensive I might find it. I still kind of miss, like I said, I still miss, you know, sort of lighthearted, kind of madman Emmett Selk. Grumpy, responsible Emmett Selk is grumpy and responsible. I think the time for leisurely exploration is past. If I might have a moment to adjust my vision. There he is, on the next isle over. Meteon was with him. Hermes appears to be in the midst of an observational study, but I suggest we hurry over before they venture elsewhere. Head straight down the path. We can teleport to Mysopsis Euros from the device at the bottom of the slope. Okay. I'll come back for you. I see you up there, but I cannot fly and get to you yet. But I will one day. I will one day. Hello? Featherhoof's coming. He's gonna cause all the stabbity death. Hello! So, where do I cause a stabbity death? Where is stabbity death required? They are close by, within the Hungering Gardens. That would be the circular enclosure you see just up ahead. Well then, Warren, make yourself useful and bring Hermes out here to us. If I were to go, he would assume I was only there to press him on the Fandaniel matter. Of all of us present, you stand the best chance of convincing him to put aside his work for the moment. But the creations in there are not exactly... Then again, perhaps Warren can handle them. He did survive a bout with Fana, after all. Off you go to find Hermes, but do be prepared to come to blows with the garden's denizens. Yeah, I'm seeing like the giant piranha plant up there. Yeah, Audrey 12, I guess. I don't know. It's a mean green mother from outer space, and it's bad. Ew, more of these fuckers. Oh, we're actually gonna get, what you call it, forced battles. Righteous Medusa. It's righteous. Got it. Dude. Oh, dude. Hermes. Where's Hermes? Oh. Hi. Righteous Morble. So does it mean we're on the right path? If I'm going this way, cause that to happen. Oh! Hello! Oops. It's funny, I'm still not yet used to the fact that my attacks and stuff do not cancel each other out. They cancel out my combos. If I choose to do a different attack. So I end up doing what I used to do and just expecting that it was canceled and starting my combos over. Attacking, dude. Go! Hermes? Oh, god damn it. Oh. Okay, okay. So I just reactivated this encounter by coming back here. Alright. Good to know. Let's see. Hermes. God damn it, you're not Hermes! You're also dead, so haha, fuck you. Oh, there he is. Found you. Warren, where did you come from? No, I'm not trying to talk to her. I'm trying to talk to Hermes, damn it. Warren, what are you doing here? I thought you were keeping Hythlodeus and Emmet Selk company. An important matter? And unrelated to my decision on Fandaniel, you say? Then, yes, I will come, as soon as my work here is finished. It will not be long, I promise, but you should really wait outside the garden with the others. This is no place for idle exploration. I've noticed! Bird! To the mountable griffin! Hythlodeus! Which I still liked your name when I thought it was pronounced Hythlodius, but we'll go with that. Hythlodeus. We're here. We contacted. You spoke with Hermes then, and were briefly entangled with the denizens of the Hungering Garden as well. I see, or should I say, smell. I cannot speak for certain convocation members, but I for one am impressed with your fortitude. Well done indeed. Now that you've convinced Hermes to confer with us, let us pray that things will soon take a turn for the better. As fascinating as it would be to meet with the... For as fascinating as it would be to meet the Emmet Selk who would recreate Amarot in the depths of the ocean, I think it best for all concerned if such tragic events never came to pass. Be it in our future or your past, assuming yours is not truly written in stone. Naive hope that it is. Hermes said he would not be long, yes? Then we shall wait here until he emerges. Very well, fine. We'll just do what you want to do. We'll just do what you want to do. Whether it be past grumpy you or future madman you. Always doing what you want to do.
My apologies for keeping you waiting. I understand there is a matter you wish to discuss.
Aye. A matter of the utmost gravity, if one can suspend disbelief. Go on then. Tell him what you told us. Who you are, and why you came.
Hey there, Angel! Merry Christmas to you as well. Well, early Merry Christmas Eve.
The final days.
The phenomena observed
Do, do,
during
do,
these
do, do.
star-encompassing calamities is likely the product of a dynamis reaction, and none is more versed in the applications of this energy than you, Hermes. I must stress that we do not believe you would desire such destruction. We come not to lodge accusations, but to beg your wisdom. And so, distressing though the exercise may be, I ask that you share with us your opinion on the matter. On the assumption that our visitor's tale is true.
Hey! Are you calling me a liar?
Even you, Vana. As you say, the phenomena observed in the two calamities may both be attributed to Dynamis. Of note is the difference in its effect. In the first final days, it warped creation magics. In the second, it warped the people themselves. The key variable, I suspect, is the etheric density of the men of each age. As you know, ether, in essence, negates Dynamis.
Yes.
Harboring high concentrations of ether, we ancients cannot readily manipulate Dynamis, nor be manipulated by it. Therefore, rather than ourselves, the calamity affected our magics. In contrast, having been sundered, the people of the future are composed of but a fraction of our ether.
Right.
Thus are they susceptible to the influence of Dynamis and its transformative potential.
Okay. I'll go with that. I got it. Yeah.
But that would explain only the mechanism, not the cause. Though perhaps...
What is it? Even should it be a hypothesis, we would hear it.
Dynamis is an energy put in motion by feelings. Feelings for which there must first exist a source.
Right.
The
Feelings
source
don't
to
just
which
come
the
from
victims
nothing.
Must be attuned. One that harbors the self-same negative emotions. Elsewise, it could not be the agent of such extreme change.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't the stagnation of the celestial currents. Someone, or something, is instigating the star's demise.
So, We've a villain on our hands after all. Any idea who or what it could be?
I wonder if Laha Bread way back in Praetorium was right. That Hydaelyn was, is something that needs to be burned out. What if it's Hydaelyn?
The celestial currents comprise the outermost layer of the star's ether, encasing it like a protective sphere.
So maybe something internal.
According to your tale, it was where the currents were weakest that the phenomena first manifested.
Do.
If the inciting factor came from without Aetheris, then its effects would first be seen in those locations.
Mm-hmm.
Greetings. Can you hear me?
Oh! Metia reporting in.
Do not be alarmed. I mean you no harm. I wish only to hear your words, share your feelings, know your thoughts.
Danger! Danger, Will Robinson! Danger!
May we please be friends?
Meteon. What is it?
Executing scheduled task, suspending individual self and connecting to shared consciousness. Connection established. Commencing status report.
That's not good!
It hurts. It hurts.
Oh,
So hot, so cold, so sad. I don't understand. Make it stop. Please, make it stop.
one or more of the Metia have met something
Steady, Meteor.
very bad
Steady.
out there.
So scared. So lonely. The pain. It's too much. Why? Why do we? They hurt.
Whoa! And now we're in, like, PT or Layer of Fear territory here.
Wrong. All wrong.
Whoa!
She's gone? But how?
She has altered her etheric density in order to blend in with her surroundings, an ability for avoiding confrontation.
Really?
Most effective. Frustratingly so. I can't see her either. Not even a trace.
So she's a chameleon too?
Stay away. Please. This is wrong. My mistake. So please.
Are you all right?
Do I look all right?
In your mind? No. We only heard her speak the instant before she vanished.
Of course. When communicating without words, Meteon also employs Dynamis. That will explain why you were able to hear her when we could not.
Then you are our best chance of finding her. Follow her voice and try to track her down. Hindered though we may be, let us split up and search as well.
I mean, invisible. Well, he said he changes her density, so maybe she doesn't leave tracks. I was gonna say follow the bird feet tracks, but if she changes her density too, as well, then maybe she wouldn't. Okay, so something out there is projecting very negative feelings through Metia back here. Okay. You calm your mind, your senses questing for any hint of Meteon's presence. But you fail to hear her voice. She must be elsewhere. Anyway? Shiny spots? Any shiny spots? Shinies! Shinies! Ooh, a suspicious disturbance, eh? Or I just like to call them shinies. But you failed to hear her voice. She must be elsewhere. Damn it! Fine, be that way. Oh! Shiny! It steeps into my mind. Our voices reporting. No, no. Hermes mustn't hear them. I have to run. To hide. Mitya's anguished voice grows distant as the source seems to flee down the slope. Whatever it is will make Hermes sad, will it? Oh, did I see? I did see. You strained to catch even the faintest whisper, but failed to hear Mitya's voice. She must be elsewhere. Damn it! Lisa what? Ah! Shinies! So Liz, if you're still there, did you see the new emotes? Nothing again. Damn it. Let me pollute this, beautiful air with this diesel-powered Magitech armor. Aha! There we go. I think the presence of this cutscene denotes we might have found her. Greetings and salutations. That's my line. Don't you steal that. Commencing report. Oh no. Oh no. We can't tell them that. We must run. Run far away. Nifty trick. I don't like it. Please, don't follow me. Mitya's anguished voice fades as you sense her climbing to the top of the ridge. That's the face of, the hell I won't! Get your little bird butt back here before I have to spank it with my spear. Can I get up this way? Doesn't look like it. No, it's not looking like it. Alright. Gotta go down the long way. Which is even longer now because I've wasted time trying to get up that way instead. Nope. Aha! Damn it! Look, Mitya, I'm not Featherhoof. I'm a playful snowman. Damn it! My disguise did not hold. How did it come to this? Is this the reason we traveled to the stars? Why we sought out other life forms? Is this it? Is this the answer? No, it cannot be. It cannot be! ETI's anguished voice drifts away to the south. Well, then we'll just go to the south then. Come, Pegasus! We travel southward because we can. So the answer to what causes the final days is aliens. Sure. You know what? Mulder was right. It was aliens. Anything? No. Aha! Shinies! Ooh, cutscene. There we go. Compiling report for dissemination to Hermes and all people of Etheris. Processing expedition data. Preparing profiles on intelligent civilizations. Formulating answers to the question. Finalizing report. No, Orin, you mustn't listen. Do I need to stab your knees so you can't keep running away? It's wrong. It's all wrong. Meteor's placed towards the lake. Any signs of Meteon? Panicked and confused, which will make it all the more difficult to predict her movements. Hermes, what do you make of this situation? The Meteor are linked to a single mind, a shared consciousness which connects them across any distance. I suspect something has happened which disrupted its usual harmony. How might we access this shared consciousness of theirs? Much as you would approach any sentient being, directly. In the Meteor's case, that means speaking to any incarnation within physical reach. So unless we can track down the Meteon we just lost, we have no means to communicate with them. No way to knowing what befell her sisters, no way to provide directions or guidance. Then we had best set our musings aside and concentrate on how we might find her. Uh-oh. Someone seems a little panicky. You babied her too much, and now she has no way of, she has no means to process these emotions she's going through. Way to go, Hermes! Oh, my dear Meteon, what did you witness out there that... what did you witness out there that frightened you so? Why do you seek to keep it from us? How terrible could it possibly be? Pretty bad. Follow, wander, stumble, listen. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Meteon renders herself invisible by matching her etheric density to that of her surroundings, does she not? If so, could we not then disrupt her concealment with a surfeit of ether? Watch how Emmett Selk solidified your presence when first we met you? Don't be absurd. I can hardly channel ether to a recipient whose whereabouts are hidden from me. Which is why we must all work together. Warren will continue to search the same manner as before, but this time with you in tow. Once he ascertains Meteon's likely location, you proceed to reveal our wayward familiar with a swift ethereal downpour. Very clever. And thankfully, she has made herself easier to capture by fleeing towards Leth. Assuming she is made visible, it should prove no great feat to herd her into a corner. Then we have our plan. Warren and Emmett Selk will be our tracker and trapper respectively, while we others predict and obstruct Meteon's avenues of escape. Emmett Selk and I will keep an eye on each other's ether to help coordinate our efforts. Let us be about it. Well, it seems we are partners for the time being. Let us return to where we last saw Meteon and pick up the trail from there. I will keep myself in a state of preparedness, ready to rain down ether at a moment's notice, meaning it falls on you to keep the way clear. Yay! Let's go, Emmy! And here. Why can't I fly? Are my functions being restricted? Hide. Yes, I'll just have to hide then, where no one can find me. Ooh, towards the water's edge. She went into the lake! As if it wasn't tiresome enough. Well, at least that open expanse should make her easier to find. We won't lose her this time. Hello, Kelpies. How you doing? Or hippies, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, hippies. They're called hippies. Come on, Mitsuyon, chill the fuck out. We're all friends here. It's all okay. It'll only hurt for a second. Stabbity death it doesn't hurt forever, just until you die. I didn't want to do this because I liked you, but what needs to be done, be done. Not here. I'm not here. Please. There! By that rock, is she? Very well. Yay for the snap. What? Why can't I hide? Let's talk to her like a person. Orin? What are you saying? Everything is so faint. I'm sorry, I'm not strong enough. Stay away. I'm begging you. Don't make me say it. It will break him. His poor fragile heart. Will someone throw a cage over that chick? Now we have a chance. Once the others are in position, the two of us can herd her into their midst. What about your creation magics? Just like you create a giant cage that just pops out of the air and on top of her. Is that so hard? Come on, guys. Oops. I forgot I was with... Damn it. Oh, you can... I have to go all the way back? Fuck me. Damn it. And I can't... Oh, God. Fucking hell. How do I get back up? I like that. That works. Come on, Emma, you're telling me you're not as fast as a mount? Come on, buddy. Gotta work slowly, because Emmett Selk is a slow poke. Alright, sleep well, Tyronius. You take care, Bo. Thank you for stopping by. Merry Christmas to you. You are correct, Tyra. Yes, that is correct. Sleep well, Merry Christmas, and you have a fantastic holiday, my friend. Okay, let's see. Where is Meteor? Here's the Meteor. How meaty is the Meteor? Ooh, a talkie point. Is this the new one? Wait, is this new one not in use? It seems to have been left to the mercy of the elements. Either way, it bears no trace of Meteon's essence. We move on. Okay, so she can't have used it. So far as we're aware. There! I see her! I guess we will as well. Try to keep up, Emmett. Or should I say Hades? Where are you, little one? Where are you? We must hear your report so that we can figure out a means to, stop the end of days. The final days. The days of finality. Where? Wait, what? Are you behind this rock? You're not behind this rock. Ah! Shiny! I go to the shiny. She is always several steps ahead of us, isn't she? Ooh, that stare.
Aha! Give chase. We shall herd her into the shelter.
Okay. I like his way of summoning mounts better than my own. I can tell you from experience, when a bird panics, it is difficult to chase them down.
Please, Mission. We must speak.
I'm sorry, Hermes. I'm so sorry.
She says she's sorry.
If someone can hear these words, then please. Please protect them. Protect them all. Individual self-suspended. Connection with shared consciousness stable. Our survey is complete. We shall now report our findings. All units safely arrived at their respective destinations. Seeking answers to Hermes' question, we attempted to make contact with the intelligent denizens of each star.
And how'd that go?
Results are as follows, in order of numerical code. Enna. Traces of civilization found. Structures believed to have served as domiciles. No extant life forms detected.
Oops.
Dio. Ruined remnants of buildings scattered across star, surface of which is encased in ice. Presence of life could not be verified.
Oops.
Tria. Evidence of large population centers, akin to cities recovered. No extant life forms found, only their lingering essence. Tessera. Edifices surmised to be abandoned residences found. No extant life forms detected. Deadly plague or extreme environmental degradation likely to have led to mass extinction.
They are all dead.
Son,
Octo.
we got Galactus going around eating up all these
Star
planets.
found in state of violent conflict. Contact successfully made with inhabitants, but deployment of weapons of mass destruction resulted in total annihilation of local population shortly thereafter. Inea. Star is a barren desert. No identifiable flora found. Bones of living beings resembling men discovered beneath sands, but determination regarding their intelligence inconclusive.
They wound up on Arrakis.
Remind me, Hermes, what exactly was the question you entrusted to Meteon?
I tasked her with asking what others live for. What gives their lives meaning.
Did you consider what may happen if the premise of the question is flawed? To be able to answer it, one must be living and desire to continue doing so.
Yeah, true. Very true, yeah.
But if Meteon finds no living beings in the course of her journey, or none who desire to live, what then? What answers would she derive from their silence?
You made an oopsie, didn't you? That's a blue tree. That tree is blue. Why is that tree blue?
Meteon, enough. Suspend your mission and return hither at once.
We don't want to. Fuck off.
Decapente. Local civilization once flourished under auspices of higher power. Said power later laid waste to civilization in fit of rage.
Primal?
Upon revealing
Space
this to
Primal?
me, entity elected to self-terminate in lieu of providing answer to question.
Oh.
No other intelligent life forms found.
Wow. Okay.
Turning a deaf ear, are we? We are taking Meteon back to Amarot. As I understand, we will need her if we are to bring back all of her sisters.
Yes. Meteon. It isn't right, is it? It isn't right to turn away from the answer. Even if the answer is pain. Even if we aberrations must scream ourselves hoarse to be heard. Aye. Whatever answers we find, I will not dismiss them out of hand. These words I said to you, and I will hold myself to them.
What are you doing? What you doing, Bo?
What is the meaning of this?
You cannot take Meteon, not until she has finished her report. All else must wait.
Dude, when you combined with Zodiac, I was still able to kill you. You think I can not kill you in this form too? Oh, or he's just gonna run like a bitch.
You fool!
We are changing the past a lot. Unless this is like Dragon Ball Z, where, you know, change the past doesn't actually change the future, it just creates a different timeline. Why, Hermes? Why could you not leave well enough alone? Will these answers assuage the pain you feel when a creation is returned to the ether? Have you never cast your accursed question to the distant stars? You may have one day learned to be at peace upon this one. Oops! I think we did it. Hermes has headed to Catisis. Considering the expansive dimensions of the place, we may have a difficult time locating his ether. All I can say is that he entered from the rooftop and likely arrived at the uppermost point in the facility. So, do we pursue him? Of course we pursue him. No matter what Hermes might be thinking, Meteon is a potential threat that needs to be brought under our control. The Convocation's duty to safeguard this star takes precedence over any personal stake in the matter. Vana? Warren? It is clear we stand on a precipice, but we have yet to determine beyond a shadow of a doubt that Meteon's is the hand which tips us over the edge. Nevertheless, if we are to learn the truth of the final days, we must give chase, and even if neither Hermes nor Meteon's is ultimately responsible, we cannot leave them to suffer this torment alone. Agreed on all accounts. To Catisis Hyperborea we go. Gotta run all the way back there? Oh, okay, God, it's teleporting us back there. Or not entirely. Where's here? Okay. I see where we are. Ethoselatikos Boreas. Oh! Hello. We have a crowd. What have we here? Excuse me, has something happened inside Catisis? Mistress Vana, I'm so glad you're here. No one knows what prompted it, but the alarm was sounded and Catisis put into a state of alert. Procedure dictated that we evacuate immediately, and we have yet to investigate further. This is Hermes doing, obviously. And what does this state of alert entail exactly? A field of dampening magic is draped over the entire facility, usually in response to escaped entities and the like. Catisis scholars and observers are unaffected, but everything and everyone else is weakened to a fraction of their usual capabilities. And consider us forewarned. We do, however, have urgent business with Chief Hermes and must enter the premises regardless. That said, if Hermes is willing to enact such measures, I wonder what other obstacles he has seen fit to drop in our path. With that enfeebling spell in place, we're not like to be at our fighting best. And I was hardly an effective combatant to begin with. I've little to offer beyond my ethereal vision. Then you will put that talent of yours to good use. You were fairly skilled at spotting weaknesses, if I recall. Fairly skilled? Now you've gone and raised everyone's expectations. You all need only make the most of your strengths. I will fill in the gaps as required. I was once as him, after all. 'Twas my job to rise to the occasion, be that as defender, aggressor, or healer. I feel better about my lack of prowess already. And you, Emmett Silk, can impress us with your arcane majesty. You lob potent spells as easily as breathing, but can also channel that power in a protective manner if you so choose, yes? Well, yes, should the situation call for it. Excellent. That should cover us on all fronts. Your tale let us hear, Warren, so 'tis only right that you lead us now. No matter what lies ahead, we will win through to Hermes and Meteon. And then we will face the future together. Alright. That's my serious face. Katisis or Hyperborea, now available. It's dungeon time! Wait. Oh wow, we can form a group. Neat. So he's a bard, and Vana and Emmett Silk are both all-rounders. Huh. Neat. Should I go in like this? I know. You know what? I'm gonna go in with these three. I'm curious. I'm too curious to not do it. Instead of going in with people, you know, I should go in with people because it would, I could learn the dungeon. You know, people would actually be able to tell me what to do if I'm doing it wrong. But fuck it, let's do it. It's gonna take longer too, unfortunately. I'm already seeing the time. Ooh. They did a really good job with the music this time around. I'll tell you that. Ooh. Let's do it! One or more party members is new to this dungeon. Gee, I wonder if it's me! Oh, Amsel's a Dark Knight. Seems he's determined to protect Meteon. Aye, a right bother this is going to be. Whoop. Ah, crap. Oh, hello. When did this thing show up? Come on, Emmett. You can do it. Holy crap, they brought Stone Skin back! Now I'm jealous. I miss Stone Skin. All the time I remember back in FF14, you know, 2.0 and onwards. All that is like starting every dungeon is like, okay, dungeon beginning, you know, or right before a boss fight, time to get Stone Skin up. I'm jealous now. Shit.
Out of my way.
Have a taste.
Oops. Didn't mean to do that. That was dumb. Oops. I'm saying, I'm serious. As a white mage alt, I am jealous of Vana and her ability to use Stone Skin. Oh, jealousy feels I. Get a minute.
I'm not entirely useless.
Good to hear. I appreciate that, Hythlodeus.
I see you opening.
Well, stop seeing the openings and use the openings. Got it. I was gonna like, oh, hello. What's this? Oh, what's that? Oh, we're gonna play this game, are we? Oh, yeah, that's fine, fine. We'll play that game.
I see you.
Have a taste.
Ow! Thank you, Vana. Appreciate.
My way.
It's like Vana is, it's almost like Vana is the, what white mages would have become if they had kept on their current course back in the day. First boss? Yep, first boss. What are you? Giant alligator man. Lysa. Oh, no, that's not an alligator. That's a tiger? That's a giant tiger man. Huh. The tail almost made it look, Made it look, what's it called? Alligatory to me from far. Frostbite and seed. What? She's trying to hide from us. Oh, what's she doing?
Have at you!
Oh, that's neat. How did they know?
Have at you!
What was I missing? What did I not see? I hope it does it again. I was so busy watching the text. I wasn't actually watching what was happening. Okay.
Out of my way. I act like this.
Stand firm.
Okay, here's the frostbite and seek again. Oh, it's footprints. It went over there. Okay. So it's gonna come out over here. I see. Okay, that's easy. That's easy enough to follow. I can follow that. In fact, it's really easy, to be perfectly honest. He's doing the Isofall again. Isocall. Oh, Isocall, I get it. Thanks for the stack, Emmett. Appreciate.
I'm not entirely useless.
Glad to hear it, buddy. Shooby-dooby-doo. Yep. Come on. There you are. Can't believe I didn't use Start Over right away. Good. Ooh, mind piece. Boots of healing. I don't need no boots of healing. Keep your boots of healing. Okay. One down, two to go. So I'm actually really digging this music. I mean, it's no the twinning, but I mean, it's still awesome.
My way.
I don't know, can you guys hear the music over the stream of your end? So I know I have things a little on the lower side, but I think, you know, it should still be coming through. Can't do that, pal. Sorry. I wonder if this is this the first time I've ever used a trust on a stream? I think it might be. It does feel weird. I'll say that much.
I'm not entirely useless. I see you, Evelyn.
God, watching her Vana use using like I said, using Stone Skin, it does make me jealous, and it just keeps putting me in mind of other skills that were taken away. You know, like the Lancer's Ring of Thorns. I miss you, Ring of Thorns, and I always will. I will never forgive Square Enix for taking that away. It was so goddamn useful. I guess, you know, freaking balancing, I guess, probably. There we go, okay. Sorry, I don't know why my brain went into, like, analysis mode there. Like, what if I were to do... Sorry, I got really quiet there. According to Mistress Lysa, her creation is based on a concept of a bipedal wolf, and indeed is impressively manlike in its gait. It is also highly intelligent and is evidenced by its ability to employ tools. While the gleam in its eyes gives the impression that it comprehends our words, if this proves to be the case, it would be a shame that its throat isn't designed for speech. Let's make mention of this in their next report. Wait. So Lysa created it and named it after herself? Or themselves? Or was that Lysa? Save me! Save me, Emmett!
Have a taste.
I see you, Ugly.
Ah, crap.
Out of my way.
Man, that one over there, that lateral plus really went down. Like, quickly, compared to the other ones. Emmett must have been focusing on it.
Have a taste.
Fly true.
It's dead! We killed it. I feel proud of myself, yes. Is that a three-headed snake Hydra man? That's indeed a three-headed snaky Hydra man. Landon Lord. Is the Lord of the Landons? Goodness me, what manner of thinking is behind this? There truly is no accounting for taste. Here we go. Go, Emmett. Tank it up. Boop. Don't you inhale. What are you doing? Uh-oh. Pyrrhic breath. Meaning... Okay. So it's just as easy as looking where it's looking. Nothing special there. Just gotta look at what it's doing.
I see you opening.
What else is it doing? Oh! Ouch! Oh, I should have been watching what everyone else was doing. What do we do? Oh, hello! Gotcha! Okay, I see. I get your shtick now. Understood, your shtick is intimidation, huh?
I'm not entirely useless.
Well, thank God for that, Hypodius. Or Hypnodeus. I keep saying it the way I used to. Ah, crap. Eh. Alright. This isn't an overly complicated boss. That's pretty simple. Looks like it's shown all of its cards at this point. It's just a matter of making sure not to get hit by it, that's all. Whoa!
Out of my way.
Have a taste.
I think here's a good spot. Here's a bad spot. Oh no, he's looking over there. Okay, that should be fine. Oh, doesn't matter. He did. Scouting. God damn it. Give me something I can use. Let me get gloves of scouting. Boing. Ooh, it's all foggy up here.
Let you take me to. Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Apparently, not yet means that he has every intention of letting us have her. Just not yet. Don't just be patient. We'll get our turn, apparently. Ah! Bad birdies! Bad!
Have a taste.
I'll hold on to that. Gotcha. Come on, before we go in there, anything else? Nothing else, okay. Boing pad? It's a boing pad. Oh, God! I don't like that boing pad. That boing pad is scary.
This may sting.
I see you. I see you opening.
Do you? Do you, Hythlodius? I think Hythlodius sees an opening. Just taking a while. Oops. Damn it.
Stand firm.
Never! But okay. Does anyone else remember the days of Stone Skin? That will be mine, please. Of course, it's going to give me everything except something that I can actually use. God damn it. Boing! I really don't like these boingy pads.
I must hear their answers before they're expunged from existence.
Enough of this, Hermes. Stubbornness can be a virtue,
I
but
see.
this is a little excessive. You know, people, I remember one of the complaints people had about trusts were that the AI-controlled people, you know, the party members did not use AoE skills enough. They tended to focus on single target. I think they fixed that, because I'm sitting here watching them use lots of, you know, multi-target attacks. Maybe not the tank as much. I mean, he uses them from time to time, but like Hythlodius at least, is definitely using a lot of multi-target attacks. Oops, damn it. So long as it's mint chocolate chip flavored, I will taste it. But if it's not, then fuck off.
see you.
You're going to be ended. You're going to be ended. It's been ended. Flying life forms. The successful creation of migratory birds which travel between continents with the seasons came as a breath of fresh air to a long stagnant realm of flying life forms. In the end, it was a relatively simple thing to grant creatures the ability to navigate by celestial bodies, but this method lacked the precision needed to guide them to the same location each time, as would be vital to their survival. The breakthrough came in the form of magnetic fields, to the use of which was discovered by the incumbent Fandaniel during his tenure as chief overseer of Elpis. Damn it, I couldn't read that last part. And a truly inspired idea that has brought lasting benefits to the star. Well, good for them. Hey! Finally, something for me. I got some earrings. Yay. I'll take it. And a boing! I don't like all of this uppedness! I'm just saying. It's lots of heights, and that's scary. Winged Defiance, Hermes.
So, it comes to this.
It do. I've killed you before, I'll do it again.
This time, I cannot yield. Though the world may think me a mad, desperate fool, I will hold fast to my conviction.
If that's the hill you want to die on, I'll kill you on it. It's up to you. That's fine. To protect Meteion, he would go so far as to transform. So far as to make himself a villain. Yeah, you would know all about that, wouldn't you, Emmett? Wouldn't you,
I will
Emmett?
have the time and tranquility I require. Lust and pain, gather to me.
What is this? What are you doing?
Ancient wrath,
I see you.
unleash your power.
Figured.
Dancing wind, pierce my foe.
Out of my way. I'm not entirely useless.
Boop.
Stars on high.
Meteor?
All is ready.
Don't go casting me. Oh, crap. Okay. So one of them bigger than the other. One's not cracked. Aha. Got a feeling. Nice mechanic. Again, not overly difficult, but nice one. Ah, crap. Alright, just don't overlap. Just that simple, just don't overlap.
Out of my way. I see you.
Nice interruption there, AI, you know, tank.
Streams of ether, surge is one.
Okay. There's two. There's two. Okay. Oh god! Bad place, bad place. I'm in a bad place. I'm in a bad place. Oh god! An even worse place.
I see you.
Oh, ow. Wait for me, everybody. Save me. I'm about to get my ass killed. I thought they were all going to go off at once. That was my problem. I didn't realize they were going off one after another. Okay, ah, shit. Hey, Vanna, can I trouble you with, thank you.
Dancing winds, pierce my foe.
Where's the double? Did he cast double? I thought that was the one where you put the cards up that shot the ice, the wind things.
I see. Out of my way.
Stars on high, fall as rain.
Please don't. I said please. Where's the one that's not broken? This one's not broken.
Out of my way.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Just double again.
Even when I'm transformed, I am not finished yet.
Yeah, you're getting there though. Bye-bye.
No! My power!
He beat his ass. No, no. Seeing the victory screen with these three is weird, but I love it. And a gunblade. Ooh, hello. A Hermes card. All right. Got a bracelet. All I got was earrings and bracelets out of this damn thing. Are you kidding me? Ugh. Sometimes the drop rate for it's like everything under the sun except for maiming. That goddamn gunblade. Let's see. It's not even a good-looking gunblade, unfortunately. I'm not a fan of it. Yeah. Catissus Hyperborea is done.
It's over, Hermes. In the name of the Convocation, I hereby take Meteon into custody. And setting aside the matter of your nomination, you will come with us too. We require your knowledge to assess and resolve the situation.
Just say okay.
Meteon, I am so sorry. With that, I could have listened to your report in full. Reflected upon its meaning and conveyed it to others. That they might reconsider their chosen course.
You're gonna kill her, aren't you?
But I have failed. And that wish will never be realized. However, ere our fates become the province of others, I bid you tell me just one thing. Was there happiness in those distant stars? Was there a reason for living?
Cannot heal you. You're too goddamn far away. Please repeat request when closer.
We conducted our search as per your instructions. We scoured historical records, communed with the spirits of the deceased,
Wow, you had a lot of abilities there.
heard the final testaments of the dying, welcomed their shadowed hearts into our own.
Oh, that might not have been a good idea.
One race had striven to create a world bereft of animosity.
Oh, shit.
They renounced relationships to avoid interpersonal strife, and in so doing brought about societal collapse. One race had renounced war and devoted itself to the enrichment of its people. They were conquered. Though they destroyed the enemy in reprisal, they could not regain their former glory.
She about to change into something.
One race had concluded that finite time was the root of all woes. Aspiring to shatter its shackles, they went in search of infinity.
You never want to
They
look for that.
discovered nothing is infinite, and that neither time or death can be cheated. Disillusioned, they gave up on the future and themselves.
These all sound
One
like some
race
dumb
had
people.
discarded all things that gave rise to sorrow, hoping to have only joy.
That's stupid.
They found joy lost its savor in the
Yeah.
absence of sorrow, and lost their will to live. Though worlds apart, these peoples shared a belief. The belief that they had tried their best.
Oh, are you gonna be the big bad,
That they
Meteon?
had tried to fulfill their potential with every step and success.
I don't want Meteon to be the big bad. I liked Meteon. She was so cute and innocent.
In the course of which
And
they
now
learned
she's
the
gone.
truth. That they would never be free of fear and sorrow, anger and despair, of loneliness, so long as they yet lived.
Well, yeah, that's part of life. Boo-hoo.
Even now their souls cry out for oblivion. And to this song of anguish, I lend my voice. We lend our voice. Oh, beloved mankind, shimmering jewels of beautiful Etheris, rejoice, for we will free you from the cruel yoke of existence.
Okay.
There is no need to struggle in vain, for in nihility awaits salvation. You will know peace and serenity, and it will be beautiful.
Nihilists, huh? Even Ulquiorra would
We
call
will
you
make
trash.
our nest at the edge of the universe, and there in the dark of dead worlds hoard sorrow and suffering. There we will sing, our chorus ever louder and ever clearer, that our song may reach even this ether-shrouded star. Such is the answer we have found in the stars. Such is the gift we now offer to Etheris.
Can we return to sender? Is there a return to sender on that? Can we re-gift it to someone else
To
instead?
decide our fate, to decree we live or die. Have you lost your mind? You heard what she said. She means to destroy us all, yet you'd still take her side?
You didn't meet the future fan Daniel, dude.
In the
Or Hermes.
name of the star, we have discarded those creations that we deemed flawed.
Yeah, like I said.
If we ourselves are flawed, does not stand to reason that we too should be discarded.
The gentlest of souls are the easiest to break.
And you know it.
Perhaps it is. Perhaps I am wrong. But who is to say that you are right? Let us settle this with a determination.
What is this, Undertale?
In my authority as Chief Overseer of Elpis, I will make a judgment on man's fitness to exist.
You've overstepped your boundaries, Bo.
If he can learn to value all life and retain his will to live,
Still have pretty eyes, though.
even should his end be justified, he will surely find a way to avert his demise. If not, he will perish in star. As with all determinations, provisions must be made to ensure fairness. Kairos, awaken!
And who or what is Kairos?
Memory reconfiguration.
Oh, that's right. I
system
remember that.
Kairos activated. Awaiting instruction.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Command, Universal Memory Alteration. Target area, Catesis Hyperborea. Starting point. Arrival of Emmet Selk, of the Convocation at Propylion. Endpoint. The present. Erase the memories of all events, and replace with a vague recollection of the following. I was here, preparing to demonstrate the functionality of Kairos to Emmet Selk and Hitherdays. Meteon's shared consciousness became unstable. She and her sisters could not sustain their existence, and all dissipated with a burst. The resultant shockwave accidentally triggered Kairos, which erased several days of memories from all present. Execute.
Command acknowledged. Initializing. 3 processes remaining to execution.
Bravo. I dare say one would be hard-pressed to make it fairer. Everything that you told us, everything that has happened, the fact we've even met, it will all be gone.
So that's how they're getting around the paradox. Okay. I'll take it.
Go
Not that I have a choice in it.
to the edge of the universe, where none can reach you.
Hermes, won't you come with me? If you were to shed your flesh, I should be able to carry you.
I will remain. As a man, I will oppose the oblivion you bring.
Silly fool. Had you said yes, I would have granted you the gentlest end.
Meteon, you were so adorable. But if I have to stab at death in an adorable face, I'll do it.
This ends here!
Fly, Meteor!
Hades is mad.
Hermes!
Argos, to me!
First process complete. 2 remaining to execution of memory reconfiguration.
I should probably get out of here.
As if we needed more pressure. No matter what, you cannot forget what happened today, for it is the key to saving your future. your world.
I did pick up on that, yeah.
This fight is our fight. What comes after, our problem to contend with, not yours.
Okie dokie.
No. Your own struggle awaits, and no one else can take your place.
You hear
You
that?
must
No
free
one
this
can take my
place
place.
from memories, and I will see that you do. Now then, where is it?
I don't know. What is it?
There you are, my little confluence.
Doggo wants to eat Birdie.
Almost!
Oh, into Little Birdie.
You may elude us this day, but not forever.
Meteon's gotten away.
Yeah.
Second process complete. One remaining to execution.
If you're gonna get me the hell out of here, you better do it now, Bo.
No time for brooding. Listen well. Beyond lies a spatial confluence that connects the interior sections of this building. I will destroy the confluence and force open a way outside. When I do, you must jump through.
Okie dokie.
I cannot tell you how sorry I am.
I don't believe it.
Neither can I let you escape.
Whee! Oh no, I'm not liking this.
Too brave by half. Exemplary work, as always, Emmett Selk.
What? But how? I thought the confluence was over.
Over there? Yes. We were rather hoping you would.
It was never anywhere but where it is now.
We tricked you,
The
fool.
instant those two began making their way towards nothing, 'twas clear the plan was a diversion.
Fool.
I'm quite incapable of destroying a confluence, I must confess.
A gambit brazen beyond words. Though we've grown accustomed to reckless improvision due to the antics of an incorrigible associate. Though, in the case of certain present company, incorrigible is an understatement. Honestly, I'm beginning to suspect it's a requirement for every Azek. There's no time! Quickly! Even now, I do not believe your tale. I would not suffer us to walk such a wretched path. Still, if it must be said, do not squander it. The legacy I leave you.
Final
Oh,
process
Emmett.
complete. Executing universal memory alteration.
I still miss him. I still do. Give me a second.
I'm fine. Just a little tired. Can it be true?
You saw it.
Are we the only ones left who see beauty in the world?
Oh,
In
that.
life? Are the stars above no more than husks of fallen civilizations? And yet... I feel her. Though she is unimaginably distant, I feel Meteon's presence, and the place where to we must go. Ere she made good her escape, I placed an enchantment upon her, one which allows us to follow her trail. She has already left the outermost bounds of Aetheris, and continues on her way. Given the vastness of the universe, it will still be no easy feat to track her down.
We'll use the moon.
But thanks to Emmet Selk and his Ladeus, all is not lost. We remember. So long as we remember, our fates remain ours to shape.
What became of the others, I wonder?
I'd like to know too. Let us ascertain the situation at Cutisis Hyperborea, where they should still be. Given the likely state of their memories, however, it would be imprudent for us to approach them directly. In which case... I am sorry, my friend. I've asked much of you this day. But may I trouble you one last time? Argos will investigate in our stead. We will share in his consciousness and see and hear as if we were with him. Now, close your eyes and open your mind.
Okay.
Thank goodness you are unharmed.
Unharmed? There is a gaping hole in my memories. I can scarcely remember arriving here in Elpis.
Forgive me. I was preparing to demonstrate the functionality of Kairos to our guests. But Meteon, her shared consciousness became unstable. And she...
So, that's what prompted the state of alert. And when you went to investigate, you were caught in Kairos' accidental operation.
Yes, that's totally
It's
what
all a blur to
happened.
me.
Such an unfortunate accident. Oh, and what of Venar and your other companion? You went inside together, as I recall.
We did?
If Venar was with us, I have no recollection of it. But that there is her familiar, is it not? The fellow seems happy enough, so I think it's safe to assume his mistress as well.
Sure, we'll go with that.
I haven't the slightest notion who this other companion might be, however.
Short guy, cat
well,
ears, cat
that
tail.
individual struck me as a bit different, for want of a better word. Perhaps it wasn't actually a person, but some manner of creation.
Hey! douche nozzle.
Curious.
Maybe you're not a person.
I must ask Venara about it when next we meet.
Yes, you do that. Now, if we may tend to Hermes, whatever this Meteon did, it seems he bore the brunt of it. Once you are fit to travel, you will return with us to Amarot. We need to make certain there are no other ill effects. Also, I am here on business of the 14. We've already had the conversation, like as not, but since your toy wiped my memory, we'll have to have it again.
Yes, of course. As you see fit.
Sorry, I'm keeping an eye out for a delivery that was delivered yesterday, but because I didn't answer the door and I guess it needs to be signed for, they are trying to redeliver it today. I just don't know when.
It manipulates memories through the emission of etheric waves, correct? There is a theory which holds that memories scoured by blasts of ether are restored when the soul is cleansed in the underworld. If true, then perhaps when our time comes to return to the star, we shall remember these few days we have lost.
Maybe.
I doubt aught of interest occurred. Look forward to the revelation if you like, but I should prefer to reminisce on more meaningful moments.
Let us rest. If only for a while. After all, you and I... Oh, we still have a long, long way to go.
For a long, long time. Well, at least for you. Are you feeling at all recovered? I understand that your exertions were more than purely physical, but resting one's body, if only for a moment, is never without merit. As for Hermes, I think it unlikely he will create more entelechies. He poured much of himself into Meteon, and now that she and her sisters are gone, dissipated in his mind, the grief must be unbearable. He will blame himself. He will believe that, had he never acknowledged his dissatisfaction with the world, then the Metea would have never been born to suffer and die. To offer to join the 14 will be a welcome distraction, and one day hence, he will face the advent of the final days in the role of Fandanio. You may now enter Catissus Hyperborea with a party of NPC avatars. Yeah. Okay. Thou must live, die, and know. Love it! Okay, I gotta go, actually. We're overtime anyway. And, like I said, I have to go watch for a frickin' package. So, I'm gonna go do that. In the meantime, we will, end the stream here. We will, come back, next week. But, like I said, no multiplayer Saturday this week because of, Christmas. And I hope you all have a fantastic Christmas. I'm gonna, like I said, we're overtime. I gotta go. Short outro for you today. Like I said, like I always say, join me on Patreon if you have the chance. Patreon.com/featherhoof_gaming, or subscribe to this channel right here on Twitch. Both will afford you all kinds of little perks, like Liz's emoticons down there. Ta 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 ta, unicorns. Ta 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 ta. Unicorns. So you all have a fantastic Christmas or whichever holiday you celebrate. You take care. Have yourselves a thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for being here. Hope to catch you next week. Till then, take care. Have yourselves a fantastic morning, afternoon, evening, or sleep, whichever one you're heading towards. And I will see you all next time.